Hey everyone, in this video we're going to go through the top 3 mistakes players make with loot. Number 1 is the question, to salvage or to sell. Players are often unsure if they should be salvaging or selling the items they find. And today I'll tell you what I do to have plenty of crafting materials and gold. So as a quick reminder, salvage materials are needed for upgrading your gear. When you salvage armor, you get rawhides, or when you salvage weapons or jewelry, you're going to get things like iron and silver chunks. Now there are maximums to each of these. If you ever run into the max, you can actually go to the alchemist and combine them, upgrade your ore to silver, upgrade your rawhides to leather. So that is one thing you can do if you ever max out and want to keep getting more. Now before we talk about the best way to get gold in Diablo 4, check out this gold-filled offer from this video's sponsor. Skytech Gaming, Intel, and SignalRGB have come together to give away this amazing Diablo 4 inspired PC. This PC comes in the shape of a treasure chest and is equipped with 2 mesmerizing potions on the top, which react to your health and mana in real time. As you gain and lose health and mana, the red and blue potions on your PC will change accordingly. This amazing interaction is made possible from the SignalRGB app, which syncs RGB devices from any brand to bring you a cohesive lighting experience on your PC. The Skytech team carefully designed and 3D printed this incredible custom PC with performance and cooling in mind. This beautifully handcrafted chest isn't all for show. It comes with the lightning fast 13th generation Intel 13600K processor and the incredible RTX 4070 GPU, giving the top of the line specs you need to defeat Lilith and save Sanctuary. If you think this PC is incredible and want it to be yours, enter the giveaway by clicking the link in the description below right now. And we're back. Now the main way of getting gold in Diablo 4 is by selling items, right? And it's used for upgrading gear and for refunding paragon nodes and skills in the skill tree. Now it is extremely expensive, so oftentimes you're going to find that you might not have enough gold to entirely respec your paragon board if you are max level. So gold is definitely very important. Now what I have done is that once I reached a certain point with materials, what I did is I just started selling them. I started selling everything. For me, it was around level 80 or so, and just from there I sold every single item, especially unique items, because they actually sell for so much more gold than rares. I mean, they sell for hundreds of thousands of gold, which is way more than what rares sell for. Now the fastest way to sell your gear is either to just right click them all when you're at the vendor, or hit spacebar on each item to mark it as junk, and then just right click and everything marked as junk will get sold. Either way you use, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to still mouse over every single item and push a button, so either way it still kind of takes the same amount of time because unfortunately there is no sell all button. Now you can also mark sigils as junk, but be careful with this because you don't want to sell them at a vendor. You actually want to make sure to salvage them at the occultist in order to get that valuable sigil dust used to craft sigils so you can get the right nightmare dungeon affixes you're looking for. You can usually make millions of gold from a single dungeon run, which seems like a lot, but once you reach a high level, it's very, very expensive to keep rerolling stats on a weapon or doing a full refund of your paragon board. So gold is very scarce, and you're going to want to sell pretty much every item you find once you've reached a certain point with your materials. And that is my tip for you when it comes to salvage or sell. All right, let's move on to number 2. A lot of players aren't aware of super unique monster spawns and the crazy items they drop. These monsters have the same name and drop the same item every single time they spawn, and they always spawn in the same spot. Now, depending on what world tier you're on, what level you are, the quality of what they drop is going to change dramatically. You know, it could just be a regular item, but it also could be a sacred or ancestral item. Now, these super unique monsters drop the highest item power loot in the game. However, because they are in the open world, that means they also are going to scale to your level, whether that's higher or lower. And when it's lower, that means that it's not going to be the highest item power level item that you can find. This means that if you find these monsters before you're level 100, then the item power is going to scale to whatever level you are. And as you level, you'll probably find something with a higher item power. But once you're max level and slay these monsters, the items they drop have higher item power than what can be found from other monsters. Now, what's interesting about these items is that they don't have 4 stats like other gear. Instead, they just have 3 stats. However, these 3 can roll higher than any other of the stats from items that have 4. The rare items that drop from rare monsters will always have the same affixes, but since the world scales with your character, the higher level you are, the higher these affixes can go. Not only that, but to re-roll these affixes, the cost is dramatically reduced when re-rolling items from rare monsters. At level 82, the Trembling Ring can grant up to 1000 bonus max life. If you want to re-roll that over and over and over until you get that 1000 increase max life, you can, because it only costs 6 gold to reroll that stat of your choice. Absolutely insane how cheap it is. So there's really no way gold will hold you back when it comes to these rerolls from the super unique monsters. However, it does still cost the same reagents, so if you haven't done a lot of hell tides, you'll definitely need to do a few before you try this method. Now there are some pretty decent items that can drop from rare monsters, and at level 95 plus, some of these items are actually best in slot for certain builds. I was definitely surprised to see the gold cost of 6 gold when rerolling, but it turns out that the reroll cost is based on the vendor price of an item, which means that quest items, which also sell for very little gold, can be rerolled cheaply. I thought this was really neat. Now, for a full list of these rare monsters, you can actually find that in-game. It's a challenge, and it's called Trophy Hunter. You can find that under Map, Challenges, and then Open World. All right, let's move on to number 3, the insane crafting tricks you can use to improve your gear. Now, this is a multifaceted equation. First, you need to know about item breakpoints, and there are 6 total. 1 through 149, 150 to 339, 340 to 459, 460 to 624, 625 to 724, and 725 and above. Now, for example, if you were to take a weapon that has 612 item power and upgrade it using the blacksmith to above 625, it's actually going to re-roll all the ranges of all the stats on that item, and these ranges will have higher possible values. It is possible, however, to have a very high roll on the lower breakpoint, then upgrade that item, and then get the lowest possible roll on the new range, meaning you just lost stats by upgrading. But that is probably an exception and not the rule, because most of the time it's going to be definitely worth it to push an item over a breakpoint in order to get access to these new ranges and new rolls. Now, this is especially important if you had low rolls on that item in the first place. Also, a really important tip is that you can only upgrade regular items 4 times max, but a sacred or ancestral item can be upgraded 5 times. However, there is a way to get around that. So if you have a normal item that you love the affixes on and you want to upgrade it a 5th time, but unfortunately it's a normal item, you can actually convert it into a sacred or ancestral item. And the way you do that is by using a sacred or ancestral legendary aspect on a regular rare. It actually gets converted into a sacred or ancestral legendary item, which will then allow you to get the full 5 upgrades. This can be very useful if you found an item that just has the perfect stats, even if it has a low item power and you want to keep it. So hang on to those legendary aspects that are sacred or ancestral in case you ever want to convert a normal item. And those are the top 3 things that players usually don't know about when it comes to their loot and mistakes that they make. They might salvage something that actually could be turned into something very valuable, and they might sell an item also not knowing that they should salvage it because they're low on crafting materials. So hopefully after watching this video, you have a better idea of what to do with the loot you find in Diablo 4. If it was helpful, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe for more Diablo 4 content. My name's Toyhouze, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.